Well, good morning, children. Today is Saturday, February the 6th, and it is time for our children's focus. It is a wild and blustery, snowy weekend, isn't it? Any of you who are snow bunnies out there must really be enjoying the weather. So if you are getting out to have a bit of a walk, maybe making some snow angels or snowmen, have fun, but make sure you bundle up nice and warm. Anyways, today we are going to be looking at our gospel reading again. But before we begin, I want to say good morning to everybody. So good morning, Andre and Serenity. It's great to see you. Good morning, Ella and Claire. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Good morning, Ben, and good morning, Kyler. Good morning, Oliver and Foster. Good morning, Tristan and Morgan. I hope you two are having a great time. And William and Jacob, good morning to you. Good morning, Jade. I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe and staying nice and warm this weekend. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Tana. I hope we've got a craft you like today. Good morning to Michael. And good morning to Michaela. There we go. It's great to have you all with us today. At our Children's Focus, we explore the Bible stories that we have written in our Bible, and we think about how those stories affect our lives thousands of years after they've been written. And of course, there's stories about God, about God's Son, Jesus, and about the people who have followed them. Our ancestors, all the way back to the beginning with the story about the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. But today we're going to look at the gospel as we hear it written in Mark. We've been looking at Mark for several weeks now, haven't we? And again, this week's story follows right on from last week's. But we have a theme today that we're going to be looking at, and that theme is prayer. That Jesus spends time in prayer, and as we hear through our gospel reading and through the discussion, we probably should too. Anyway, so I have something here, and I'm wondering if you all can tell me what that is, right? What is this, right? This is my cell phone, exactly. Actually, it's a brand new one, so I even have a pretty heavy-duty OtterBox to put around it to keep it nice and safe. But it has something in it that I have to charge every night. What do you think that is? That's right. It has a battery in it, and it needs to be recharged, right? Because you can't do much with your phone or your tablet or even your laptop unless it's plugged in if the batteries run down. What do you have that needs to be recharged there at your house? Right? Are any of you using iPads or tablets to do your homeschooling? Maybe some of you might even have a phone, though I'm not sure we have anyone quite old enough for that, but I could be wrong. What else needs recharging? Did you say people? Well, if you did, you are absolutely right. We need to recharge ourselves as well because we work hard and we play hard, especially on days like today. If you get out and have a walk in the woods or you're building snowmen or snow angels, well, and if we don't get enough rest, if we don't recharge ourselves, well, pretty soon we're not going to have enough energy to do the things that we need to do or even the things that we want to do, right? You're just going to sort of power down and just sit there like a lump on the log. That's right. So you have to recharge. Well, in our gospel story today, even Jesus had to recharge. And today we're going to learn how he did that. So as you listen to what's happening, I want you to use your arm, your hand, to tell how charged you think Jesus's battery is, right? So if you think he's got like his full battery charge is up here, but as it begins to go down, you're going to put your arm down like this to indicate, his energy's getting lower. Can you do that? All right, let's try that. All right. So Jesus was traveling all around Galilee, right? And he's preaching and he's teaching and he's driving out demons and he's healing people all over the place. So one day, Jesus and some of his disciples, they went to the home of Simon and Andrew. Do you remember who Simon and Andrew are? That's right, they're a couple of his disciples. Well, Simon's mother-in-law was there, but she was in bed with a fever. And first of all, that would be pretty bad, wouldn't it? First of all, they'd be worried about her being sick. And also, as the woman of the house, if she's sick, she's not going to be able to offer hospitality. So that would be making her feel really bad as well. Do you know what Jesus did? Jesus went in and he took her hand and he helped her up. And all at once, her fever left her and she was feeling totally better. And she went into the kitchen and she began to prepare a meal for everyone. Well, when things like that happen, word gets round. And by that evening, many people came to Jesus to be healed of all sorts of diseases and ailments. And the whole town gathered at the door to watch. Boy, oh boy, that must have been a really long day for Jesus. Well, after a very, very long night of healing all of these people, Jesus must have gotten a little bit of sleep, because the story in Mark tells us that Jesus got up before the sunrise the next morning. And he went off on his own and he found a quiet spot to pray and to recharge his spirit, to recharge his battery. When Simon and the others woke up later on, they couldn't find him, so they went looking. And when they found him, they said to Jesus, everyone is looking for you. Well, Jesus had recharged his batteries and he was ready to go again. So he got up and he said to them, well, let's go to the other towns and villages so that I can preach to them too. Because that's what I came to do. So they packed up and they traveled throughout the region of Galilee. And Jesus preached in their synagogues, and he healed people all over Galilee, and he even cast out demons. In all of that, where do you think Jesus' battery was? I bet you by the end of that first day, when he had healed all of those people, after healing Simon and Andrew's mother-in-law, that his batteries were really low, right? But then we hear that Jesus goes off, finds a quiet spot and prays, and you can imagine his batteries going doot, 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 ding, right till they're full. If Jesus thought that it was important for him to recharge his spiritual battery, I suspect that he would say that it's important for us to do the same. That's why we spend time each day in prayer. That's why when we can, we come to church, to the building, to pray together. And during what we do at the moment, that's why sometimes on Sunday or sometime during Sunday, we turn on our tablets or our TVs and we worship together with our online worshiping services, don't we? When we come together, sometimes our batteries may feel a little low. But as we gather and sing and praise and offer prayer, do it quietly on our own, what happens is that those battery levels, which were way down here, go do 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 and get filled up. God helps us to remember that it's not just our bodies that need refreshment and a time to recharge, but through this story in Mark's Gospel this week, we hear that it's really important for us to take time and to find ways to recharge our spiritual batteries as well. Because we don't want to have just energy enough to run around and play and do schoolwork and build snowmen. We want energy enough to be able to care for one another, right? And so we need our spiritual batteries being topped up just as much as we need our body batteries being topped up by sleep. So I thought today we would do a very, very simple craft that would help us to focus on prayer. And it would also help to maybe indicate to folks who might be wanting to come and get us to go off and play Scrabble together, or go out in the backyard, or go for a walk in the woods with your family, that this is time that you're possibly spending in quiet time praying and recharging your spiritual batteries. So we're going to make a door hanger, and this is a very simple one. And as you can see, it's a very simple picture that I've put on that. So we're going to actually make this out of just a piece of stock paper. I don't know what you have at home, but hopefully you've got some paper. I just needed paper. I needed some tape just to make it a little bit more sturdy. I had a marker that I traced my hands. I guess it was my hand this way to show some praying hands. And then I wrote on here, recharging our spiritual battery, so that when you go and find a quiet space, you can put this on the door to let people know that you're actually praying, or just finding some quiet time to recharge. So let me show you how easy this is to make. So I have a piece of just green cardstock. I know I'm doing a lot of stuff on green paper these days, but it's just that this is what happens to be in my office. So you're going to take this regular size of green stock card, or whatever kind of paper it is that you have, and you're going to fold it just in half. That's going to help it to be a little bit sturdier. All right? So a nice clean fold right there. All right? And then we want to create this, don't we? So something to cut out. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to draw sort of that shape. Let me show you. All right. So you see, I just drew a shape that will fit the door handle, so that when we cut this out, right, it creates that open space. Now, once I've done that, what I did is I took some tape and I just put it along those edges, right, just to make it a little bit sturdier. Now, once I did that, I laid my door sign on the table and I just put my hand down on it like that, you see? And then I took a pencil and I traced my hand to show praying hands. And then what do you think this is? I'm not being very artistic today, but that's just a picture of a battery, isn't it? And you can see that my battery is fully charged, or charging, because I'm spending time recharging my spiritual battery. So you can decorate this any way you like. You may have a different idea of how you'd like to indicate that you're taking time to recharge your spiritual battery. Because the point really is that I want you to think about spending intentional time each day. Just like we spend time to sleep, we take time to eat, we take time to read books, we take time sometimes to watch something on the television, we take time to brush our teeth, to wash our bodies. We need to set aside time every day to take care of our spiritual body as well. to find ways to recharge our spiritual battery. And you might do that in your room quietly. You might have a favorite chair by a window. You might like to sit outside. It might be a bit chilly for that at the moment, but that's maybe where you like to find that quiet time where you can recharge your batteries. This is just a reminder to you and to others that you are taking that time and filling up your battery so that you can fully participate in the invitation that each and every single one of us is given every day to join Jesus in building up his beautiful and wonderful kingdom. I want to thank you for joining me today. It was great getting back together with you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And before we say goodbye, why don't we just fold our hands now and say a prayer that we all know, which is the Lord's Prayer. So let's take a moment to do that. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. That's right. And all of God's children said, Amen. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at our Children's Focus. It's great to get together with you. I'm so looking forward to having some of you with us tomorrow morning as we gather on Facebook Live for our morning worship service. But if you do it in the afternoon, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad we're going to be together online. I want you to stay safe. Stay home as much as possible. When you are out and about, remember to wear your masks, wash those hands, and stay well. So take care, God bless, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.